In the headlines today, Donald Trump is scheduled to appear in court. Inflation is on the decline, and it sounds to me like everything's finally coming up Millhouse. I'm Julianna Forlano. This is the Political Voices Network. Donald Trump is scheduled to appear in court today in Miami because he is facing federal criminal charges over the classified documents that he hid in the can in his not the prison can, at least not yet, but the literal bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. That's right. These are classified documents that the FBI found, and he's been lying about it ever since. We can expect him to enter a plea deal of not guilty. My guess is because he does not have the capacity for guilt or self-reflection. And also he's been doing stuff and then pleading not guilty forever and then countersuing. Who's he going to countersue this time? The FBI? The country, the world awaits to see if the unfortunate issue of the judge that is assigned to the case, her name's Eileen Cannon, who was appointed by Trump, is going to pull some bull, right? Is she just going to walk the party line? She intervened in his investigation last year, but her ruling was overturned. Are we going to see that again this time, or has she come to her senses? Next up, the latest inflation data came out this morning, and it showed that prices are not rising as quickly as they have been. This is good news and a good trajectory. Yet the Bezos Post, is that the Amazon Daily? Oh, no, wait, it's the Washington Post. The Washington Post is reporting that prices are still above normal. That is how they reported this story. They did not report that prices are easing. They reported that prices are still above normal. And of course, they laid the blame for that on the Fed. What will the Fed do? The Fed will decide later this week, according to the Post, whether to raise interest rates again. This is the main way that the Fed fights inflation. And this is the only thing that the Washington Post, who is owned by a bajillionaire, reports on. They did not report on the fact that CEOs are still taking an enormous amount of pay. They're still not reporting that that money could go down into the price of goods and, make them more affordable, pass that savings on to you. They are not reporting that stockholders are squeezing the consumer, maybe because it's Jeff Bezos' paper, and God forbid we should talk about the abhorrent nature of being a billionaire while other people suffer. Our third story is that New York City is setting a minimum wage for food delivery workers. Starting on July 12th, companies like Uber Eats and DoorDash are going to be required to pay their delivery workers at least $17.96 an hour for their labor. That is a marginally living wage for anyone who lives outside of New York City. New York City is incredibly expensive. If you think where you live is expensive, forget about it. New York City is crazy expensive. Why it matters? New York is the first US city to introduce a rule like this. It could triple the earnings of the city's 60,000 drivers. Where is that money going to come from? I'd like to ask, say, the CEO of DoorDash, Tony Zhu. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. Tony only makes $300,000 a year. Who's going to pay this base salary? Yes, they make tips, but yes, you cannot rely on tips to feed a family or pay your bills. You need a base salary that works good for you. Tony only makes $300,000 a year. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Tony owns 2.59% of the company's shares, which are worth $723 million. So, anyway, do you think DoorDash and the others are going to pass that cost on to the people who use DoorDash? I mean, DoorDash was pretty popular during the pandemic when you weren't allowed to go out. DoorDash people making like $8 an hour were basically frontline workers at that point. People with disabilities rely on DoorDash. Will they be passing the cost onto the consumer? My guess is yes. I'm Julianna Forlano. These have been the headlines. Thanks so much for watching. This is the Political Voices Network. Hi, everybody. Julianna Forlano here for the Political Voices Network. We hope you're enjoying Political Voices and all the content we provide on the daily. Now, there are a few new programs in the wings that are going to launch just in time for election season. If you're able and would like to help us continue bringing you all this content, please help support us by clicking the join button. We're going to have some perks for members, including early video release. You get the information first. Members only chat rooms, live shows, member badges, all the good stuff, and more, all coming soon. So click that join button if you can to support us. And rest assured, we will continue to bring you all the great content you have known from the Political Voices Network and more. Thanks so much. See you soon.